8:30?
You said 8 o'clock.
Hello, Dad.
Get a hug?
Robbie's got a paper, which he's yet to begin.
I just gotta type it up.
You just gotta start writing it first. Take care of our kids.
You got nothing to worry about. That is so weird. The wind is blowing toward the storm. It's okay. Lightning doesn't strike twice.
Where's the thunder?
Robbie, you saw the lightning?
Yeah, 26 times on Lincoln Avenue.
You hear that?
A contemporary retelling of H.G. Wells's classic, the science fiction thriller War of the Worlds, reveals the extraordinary battle for the future of humankind through the eyes of one American family. Fleeing from the extraterrestrial army of killer tripods that annihilate everything in their path, Ray Ferrier, played by Tom Cruise, races to keep his family safe.
Listen to me, there's three of us. There's nothing living in that direction!
They've been planning this for a million years. And these are only the first. They'll keep coming.
Am I ever gonna see Mom again in my life?
With my son!
I know you want to fight. I know it seems like you have to, but you don't. You don't!
This is not a war. This is an extermination.
And that is the plot for Steven Spielberg's 2005 war movie, The War of the Worlds. I'm VG Retro of MD Cartoons Incorporated.
And I'm Sonic Guru of Sonic Guru Productions, obviously.
And we're going to talk about the film and express different opinions on what we thought about the film. So, your thoughts?
Well, it will be a film I actually watch religiously, that's the first thought.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole first I can watch religiously. It's funny, there's a lot of jokes in there you'll miss like several times around. Then there's like other films like, I don't know, The Dark Knight or Spider-Man 2, that those films you like watch a bit more frequent, but not as much. Then there's, there's this, War of the Worlds. It's one of those films where you have like a movie night, or just like something you haven't watched in a while, thinking, what am I in the mood for? War of the Worlds? No, okay, let's give it a shot.
But I do reckon it is the kind of film that you will sit down and watch with friends, you know? It's not the sort of thing that you'd watch all the time on your own. But, you know, there are some really good things about this film. One of my favourite things is I really like the way it opened. The fact that it all started out like it was a completely different film. Like it was
like a prime time soap opera.
Something like that. It's just a film about... It starts out just like a film about a deadbeat dad who's like got to try and like look after his kids for a weekend, and it just starts out that way, and then all of a sudden the aliens start attacking, and it's really good because that kind of reflects how things would take place in real life. You know, it's everyday normal life, and then all of a sudden, like this extraterrestrial situation takes place, and you just wouldn't know how to.
You know, there's a lot of people would have first watched this thinking, I wouldn't do that, and there's an alien, I wouldn't do that, I'd be out of that fucking country.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that, I'd run away, yeah, there's like, you know...
You wouldn't, that's what realistic
exactly, that is what you do.
We would look and think, what's going to happen, what is this? Generally, because we're monkeys, we're curious about stuff. We want to know what is going to happen.
I mean, in the book, it was also written that, you know, the Martians were like the men, and the men were like the ants. It was like, the men would go into the house and exterminate the ants, you know, to take it for themselves. That's exactly what the Martians were doing.
Yeah, but there is like one or two plot points that kind of get tossed to the side a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, I think there was one that you pointed out where all the electrical equipment had shut down after the
EMP blast.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you see a man carrying a camcorder filming the Martians. I mean... You know, that's not even, you know, that shouldn't work. I mean, if, you know, they might, you know, there's the argument that, like, maybe it's, like, part of a different kind of technology, you know, it's, like, digital, it's, like, battery-powered, but, you know, that doesn't, you know, at the same time...
A small handheld camera, the, like, normal film roll ones, that I can somewhat see it escaping the EMP blast, since it's all work like normal like clockwork kind of stuff. Then again, the film does run something else, so that might have been like fried.
Yeah, but it just doesn't account for the fact that watches, like normal old-fashioned watches,
Well,
can
there's
stop.
most watches now run on a separate battery. Since that stops, the watch stops.
Yeah, but I still don't understand how a film camera could work because the batteries would also have been fried. Yeah, it's a really strange situation. But you know, there are some other things which I don't understand. It's like the one that you told me after you saw it, when the plane lands on top of the house.
Yeah.
And you know, they park the car in the front of the house, and then the front of the house was wiped out by the aeroplane crashing.
All the fuselage and all the scrap.
Yeah, and then the car's intact.
The car's intact.
I mean, that's really strange because that sort of thing would not happen.
I think it's just plot convenience, really.
It is a bit of a...
Because there was another car that looks fine but had a big massive dent on the top of it and all that.
Yeah. And then there are also some things that, you know, the film is actually trying to do what the book did. It's trying to go for a real life approach. It's like the accounts of a single family. But there are one or two sequences which it's just really far-fetched and doesn't seem it could happen. Like when Tom Cruise and Dakota Fanning are taken into the basket of one of the tripods.
Oh yeah, that's probably the most unrealistic point of the entire film.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it is interesting to see how things like that happen, but they could have like shown how things like that work in a different sequence. Like when they actually show a little earlier on, they show a man being taken down by the Martians to be used as fertilizer for the red weed. They could have included that scene there to show where they went through that strange tubey thing, because you know that's just really creepy in itself. But it just feels like it was just put in there just to look nice, you know.
One question though, it's like that guy's taken up. One or two people try to help him, fail. Then all of a sudden when Tom Cruise gets killed, everyone starts helping.
I think it's because they saw the grenades. I'm not sure. But it is still a bit of a weird moment. And then there was also the ending, which did follow the book. I mean, it had to follow the book. It's like one of the cleverest twists in science fiction history, I think. It's just really clever how the common cold kills the Martians.
Yeah, you think about it, that's quite humorous actually.
It is actually ironic. I mean,
yeah, it's just actually.
Yeah, it is quite funny. I mean, like, you know, never mind all these like guns and ammunition and things like that. You only have to sneeze on them and they fall down.
Yeah, like wasn't in the book that the atomic bomb or something? They tried that?
No, it wasn't in the book. It was in the 1953 film.
Yeah.
And this one's more like a sequel and a remake of the 1953 film as opposed to the book, because it actually follows a lot of sequences. I mean, like all the electromagnetic pulse, like we talked about a minute ago, and then also we've got other things. It's like the way the tripod is destroyed, and then it opens up, and you see the Martian hand coming out. The scanner, the strange little eye that went around the house, and the Martians coming down to have a look.
That's one thing I talk about. The actual Martian design themselves.
Yeah.
I like the idea it actually replicates what their tripods are. 3 legs. Plus you got like a little legs here.
Yeah. I don't know about them. There's just something about them that doesn't feel exactly original. I mean, I know that they were trying to go for something very original and it looked cool, but I still feel like I've seen that design somewhere before.
The head body design looks original to me. The whole kind of tripod thing. But the head reminds me of Independence Day.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there.
It's not a bad design. Actually, it does look kind of scary, but it just doesn't look original compared to what H.R. Geiger did for the Aliens films.
Yeah, I agree with you. I also really like the tripods. How they stayed true to the descriptions of the early H.G. Wells releases with all the illustrations that they had at the time. And I also liked that how they, again, a homage to the 1953 film where they had some kind of protected shield around them. I mean, that does make sense, but at the same time, it does make it kind of one-sided and less scary. I think it's more effective, like in the book, where they don't have protective shields and they can be destroyed, but there's just so many of them and they're so powerful. It's like, I think it's even more, like, even more hard to take in emotionally when you can destroy these things, but they just destroy you anyway. Here it's just too one-sided, and it's like fighting Godzilla. They do it over and over again, even though it's not going to work.
Well, it kind of shows our human defense, how we're trying to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
Even though we know it's not going to work, we actually got to try to stall them, like Lord said. But it kind of creates more threat. Even as one-sided, there's more of a threat where like we are going to get killed by these. There's nothing we can do. We can survive as long as we can, but we are going to get killed eventually.
That is true, yeah. I also like, I really do like Tom Cruise's character in the film. He does start out very unlikable and a very miserable human being, but then once the invasion takes place and he starts realising that he's got a real serious responsibility in getting his kids safe.
He doesn't like to keep that thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to get dropped off. It's the original intention for his kids. Like, I'm going to protect you until you get to your mothers, and then that's it. Yeah. That was the original intention. But
and one of his kids even like figures that out and calls him out.
But it's not until he actually nearly loses his children to like all these frantic refugees that he almost lost his children. And then later he actually does. He assumes he lost his son.
Yeah, that's right. And then he appears at the end. I know a lot of people don't actually like that because they think, oh no, he should have stayed dead and everything. But then it is something that kind of links with the book because the writer, the main character of the book, he leaves his wife in a town and then he goes on his adventure. He gets attacked and then he can't make it back. On his constant journey to try and get there, he always has obstacles like meeting the curate, the artilleryman, and when he finally reaches this place, his wife's gone. The whole place is gone. There's nobody there. And it's only when he returns home that he actually finds her there. And I think that the film actually pays homage to that sequence by having Robbie live at the end of the film.
Yeah.
And I really like that. But you know, it's also really funny how they actually take more elements from the book, which are just in a way shoehorned into the film. Like the guy who looks after them in the house. He's got the aspirations and ambitions of the artilleryman.
Want to defend or strike back.
Yeah, he wants the wishes to like strike back and like fight the Martians, and then he starts going mad, like the curate in the book, and his name is Ogilvy, like the astronomer in the book. Which is really strange how they managed to throw 3 characters from the book into one person for the film.
But I think it works pretty well. With there's less characters focused on. There's one person. See how one man just snaps.
Yeah.
Well, technically, he already snapped. That wasn't until later when everything starts going like red reed, which I think was a really good inclusion. Yeah,
it was the way they described it was great. I mean, they only mentioned the word once in the film, but you know, it's just the way they do it. It's very realistic.
This is how the man just gradually goes down insanity. He wants someone to actually be with him, so he doesn't go completely mad by himself. Then he said, "Oh, I'm going to strike back at her. We're going to do it." You know, let Tom Cruise realise I just brought my daughter into a madhouse.
Yeah, and he's starting to think to himself, because they're right on top of us, I can't get out of here. This guy's going to end up luring them in with his like frantic madness going on.
Yeah.
So he has to he has to kill him in order to silence him, so that to try and protect his daughter, and that does last for a while, but. You know, I do actually think
I think that whole sequence with that man was actually one of my favourite part of the entire movie.
Yeah, I do really like that. I mean, I don't really I suppose I kind of agree really. I mean, there are a lot of sequences which are really good, like when the first tripod appears and starts like using its heat ray against everyone.
Although to me that kind of looks like the tripod's actually going for Tom Cruise himself.
It does feel like that actually, because you know,
the destruction just following him everywhere, kind of like, like a lot of action films really.
Yeah, I think every action film does that. You know, when there's a protagonist, he's always going to like get through the worst of it, but he's also going to survive, and it's like everything around him starts getting obliterated. It's like, I mean, like when the Martians like destroy the whole area where he lived, I didn't see a single survivor within the clips that we saw in the film, and it just seems that, you know, they were simply waiting for him to get away before that happened.
Yeah.
and it's like at times that the film can be pretty far-fetched, but as far as I'm concerned, it's a really good film. I'm giving it a watch it though.
I'm gonna watch it as well, but with a slight margin. It's like a lot of film I would want to watch again so soon.
Yeah, it is the kind of film where you just got to sit
give it a
down
month,
and
2 months maybe, then watch it again. See you remember a lot of it.
and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it if you do that. Thanks for watching. I'm VG Retro,
And I'm Sonic Guru.
and this was VG and SG Talk Movies.
We talked quite a lot.